Hey there, Comic Junkies, Mikey here, and welcome to the Comic Junkies Corner Tuesday edition, where we talk about trailers and all kinds of upcoming projects for comic book movies. So today's video is going to be a little bit different and probably a little bit longer than the usual Tuesday videos. That's because we're going to cover 3 topics. If you want to jump to your particular topic that you're interested in, there will be a timestamp in the description down below. But we're talking about 3 particular ones. One will be the Black Panther trailer, 2 will be the upcoming Venom movie, and the third will be, are we getting burnt out on Marvel movies? So hey, let's talk about it. Let's jump right into it. So the Black Panther trailer has dropped, and I immediately took to Twitter to see what you guys thought. I also posted a picture of the photo of the poster that they released on Twitter to see what you guys thought, and everyone was kind of had the same kind of thoughts that I did. The poster wasn't great. It kind of looked like, honestly looked like one of my thumbnails, but it just wasn't. It looked like, somebody just photoshopped his face on there, and I know that's usually what people do anyway, but it was just like, it looked blatantly obvious, and I was like, you couldn't have took a little bit more time with that, but it's fine, especially once I saw the original poster, which was the Black Panther in full Black Panther gear, and I was just like, why don't you just release that one? That one looked fine. It does still look a little bit cartoony, but the whole thing is cartoony, not just cartoon and then actual face. So, but, I put a poll on Twitter and to see what you guys thought about the trailer, and most of you thought it was alright, and I'm kind of right there with you. It was alright. I mean, it's a teaser. You can't expect too much from a teaser, just little snippets of things to get you interested. You have, Black Panther doing his Batman thing, and you have Michael B. Jordan doing his Little Richard thing. I'm sorry, I'm joking. I'm joking. My hair used to do that before, I had it in a ponytail, and it was long enough to be able to put in a ponytail. It always dropped down, and I hated that, but I just thought it was funny. That was the first thing that popped in my head. He looked like Little Richard. But, and there's little spectacles and action here and there. The first thing I have to say, the colors look great. Although some of it, he's wearing black and stuff like that, but it's still everything, the color design that they did with the movie, making Africa colorful and stuff like that, I felt it was pretty good. The only thing is, it just didn't have me as excited as I would like to have been about it. And we'll get into why I feel about that later on at the third topic of the video, but I just wasn't 100% feeling it. I was there, but I wasn't there. It didn't get me to that point. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to see this. I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it'll be a good movie, but it just the trailer left the teaser kind of left something to be a little bit desired. So that being said, I kind of agree with most of you guys as to it's all right. It looks interesting, but it's not like, oh my god, I want to see this. So I hope it's a good movie. I feel like it should be. Marvel has had a pretty decent track record. They haven't been perfect, but they've had a pretty decent track record. This is an opportunity for Marvel to do something different. If I'm being 100% honest, this is an opportunity for them to do something a little bit different, and I think they should go for it. I know they teased a little bit of difference with doing something different with Doctor Strange. That was kind of a big risk for them, but not so much. But this is an opportunity, you can do something that's out of your formula here. And like I said, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But for the most part, I liked most of what I saw, but I wasn't completely blown away by it, or just it didn't get that amped feeling when I saw it and stuff like that. So yeah, unfortunately, I wish I could be as excited. I know some of you probably are, but I'm not. I'm 7 out of 10, just like the poll said. I'm at that 7 out of 10 and 7 out of 10 marker. So now, what I want you, internet, I want you to. I'm asking a request of you. No. I'm not making a request. I'm making a demand. Do not turn this into a Ghostbusters thing where you're saying oh, if you don't go see this movie, you're racist. Do not do that. Do not do that. I will. If you do that, I will find you and kick you in your calf muscle, and that hurts. Trust me. I will find you, and do not do that. This is like, we don't need that. Like, the whole Ghostbusters fiasco was completely ridiculous. We don't need that for this movie. Do not do that. If you don't want to go see the movie because you're not interested in it, then don't go see the movie. Do not let anyone pressure you into seeing it, and don't make it seem like people are being racist by not going to see this movie. I mean, honestly, given the trailer, if you weren't interested in Marvel movies and you see this trailer, you're kind of like, why would you go see it? You know? So, like, don't make an issue out of it. Internet, please don't do that. Okay, so on to the next topic. Not Spider-Man. I wish it was Spider-Man, but no, it's the Venom movie. We heard that Tom Hardy was cast. Great. I don't particularly talk about casting choices, and the reason for that is, like, I used to be one of those people like, oh, they cast this person, that's not gonna work or whatever, but I will be 100% honest with you guys. Heath Ledger shut me the frick up because he blew that role away, and ever since then, I never commented on casting choices. I wait until I see the performance and I see what they've done, what they do with the role, and you have to understand that not all of, like, if a role doesn't go as planned or as you want, that's not always the actor's fault, because the actor is under direction. So sometimes the director doesn't, that connection doesn't happen. So, like, when that doesn't happen, then you get a kind of lackluster performance at times. So, like, like I said, I don't talk about casting choices. I'm just like, okay, hey, he was cast, that's great. My thing is, I feel that this movie is way too soon. I'm hearing things like it's not supposed to be part of the MCU. I've read a few things like that. Oh, it might not be, but the details are not specifically laid out until, like, we hear from, like, Sony themselves. They're saying, like, oh, this isn't part of the MCU, and they may have released something and I just didn't see it, but or this is part of the MCU. Either way, it doesn't get me more excited. I feel like it's really rushed. I feel like it's, Venom is one of Spider-Man's main rogues, outside of the Green Goblin, that's one of Spider-Man's, hardcore nemesis, and he's supposed to be one of the more monster-like and scary, like, I feel like if you're going to do this movie right, it should be rated R, and maybe Sony might be going that direction with it, or Sony Marvel might be trying to go that direction with it a little bit and try to, like, be a little bit more edgy with their movies and stuff, since they've seen that, movies like Deadpool and Logan and Blade can work and stuff. So Kick-Ass, these are all rated R movies. They're all comic book movies. But they've seen that, hey, we can be a little bit more edgy, so maybe they're trying to go for that. But I still feel like it's way too soon. I mean, we've just been reintroduced to Spider-Man again. We know that Spider-Man, as far as we know, that Spider-Man won't be in this movie, which may be a ploy. He may be, he may be in it. It may just be saying that just to, like, and then we see it like, oh, Spider-Man was in this movie, kind of like they did with Talia al Ghul and what was it, Batman. The Dark Knight Returns. I was like, oh, she's not in this movie. She's not Talia. And then she was. It's like, yeah, we kind of knew that. But it would be kind of tough to do it without him, or at least do it without some type of backstory. And the reason I say this is because I asked a person who's interested in comic book movies but doesn't follow comic book lore. And I was like, what do you know about Venom? He's like, well, he was black, and he has a lot of teeth. I was like, well, do you know his origin story or anything? He's like, not really. I know he has something to do with Spider-Man. He hates him for some reason or whatever. I was like, so would you go see this Venom movie if you were just kind of thrown into a particular scenario with him? And she's like, maybe, maybe not. Most likely not. I mean, I don't know who this character is. So, like, it would be kind of tough to kind of establish an identity. I mean, we know, as comic fans, we know who he is. So for us to go see it and then see him, like, in the midst of something, it's fine. It might be okay. But for people who don't know who he is and need to be reintroduced to this character, and I know they're trying to get far away from that Sam Raimi third Spider-Man movie. That's a whole other story or whatever. But I feel like, yeah, I feel like it's very rushed. I feel like you're fast tracking a little bit too much, and this probably needs to be something that comes out much later, like years later, not alongside Infinity War and stuff like that, because we don't know. I mean, it's just, I feel like I need to go right into the third topic here. And that's, are we getting burnt out with Marvel movies? And I've noticed kind of a trend lately. More people are talking about DC. Now, I'm a fan of both. I don't believe that I don't believe that there should be a divide. I like both. If I'm being honest, I like Marvel Comics a little bit more. And just that's because I grew up with Marvel first. I was introduced to DC later on. So, Spider-Man is my all-time favorite superhero. So, yeah, I do favor Marvel a little bit more, but that's my preference. Some people will favor DC more because that's who they grew up with, and they were introduced to Marvel later on and stuff like that. And I feel like this is just my experience in me talking with people and seeing watching different videos. Some people are more excited, or not as excited for Marvel movies and TV shows as they were. A lot of people. I asked you guys what you thought about the Defenders. A lot of people were excited about the Defenders, but I also asked, this previous trailer. And not many people were excited about it. They were kind of like, yeah, looks like it'll be all right and everything. Everyone's like, I'm sure it'll be a good movie, but I'm just not as excited for this one. And when I posted the poll for Justice League, man, it was like almost landslide. Everyone was super hyped for this movie. I was super hyped for this movie. And I have to say, it might have to do a little bit with Marvel's formula. Maybe we're getting a little bit burnt out on that. I feel like I am, and I felt like I was getting a little bit burnt out on it a long time ago. And even though, you have the DC movies, they are trying something a little bit different. And even though it may not be working, I feel like the fact that they are trying something different is still intriguing. Because in your mind, your subconscious, I feel like you want something different. You want something a little bit more. You want something a little bit to take chances. And I feel like, Doctor Strange was their opportunity for them to take chances, because this was a big leap to introduce magic into the MCU. And they did that very well, but the whole overall structure of the movie, if I'm being honest, as a whole, the structure of the movie did not deviate. It was still kind of Iron Man-y, It was still kind of that same kind of formula, same thing with like Ant-Man. It was still that same kind of formula. Even though they did certain things with the character that were different in Doctor Strange that I really liked, it was still what you expected to see. With you don't necessarily, you'd never really know what you're going to get with the DC movies. Let me be honest, you don't know. I didn't know what I was walking into when I went to see Suicide Squad, and I didn't like that movie. And that's another story. I didn't know what I was walking into when I went to go see Wonder Woman or Batman v Superman. I was disappointed when Batman v Superman theatrical cut. I was more pleased with the Ultimate Edition and everything. But they were doing things that were doing things a little bit differently, doing their own thing. So it kind of gets you excited for the future. As they're building their legs and everything like that. Marvel's already established. But it's one of those things like, if it's not broke, don't fix it type things. Well, it's not about fixing it. It's like, yeah, you can always improve on the formula, but hey, why not do something different? And this is why I want Black Panther to be a little bit different. And I felt like, for me, ever since Civil War came out, that was kind of like, I was kind of teetering downwards with the Marvel movies. The TV shows I still like. I still love Daredevil, and I like Luke Cage. I don't love it. I still love Jessica Jones and stuff like that. I love I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's still really good, but but the thing was, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are taking chances. They're doing things different. They're rehashing some stuff that we have seen in the past, but they're doing it with a little bit of a different twist and stuff. And they're doing something that's new, and keeps you engaged. This one, the movies that have been coming out have not really been that much, and I've kind of seen that in going to the theaters. Another reason, like I didn't say this in a previous video, but another reason I didn't go see Wonder Woman the opening weekend, because it was sold out, and it was sold out again the second weekend. Like me and my friends barely got tickets to go see that movie because we went to go see it. And I was telling them, I have not seen a movie sell out in Greenville in a long time, and that was since Captain America: Civil War. Since I saw that, Batman v Superman was selling out really quick. And Wonder Woman. So since 2016, Captain America: Civil War, I have not seen a movie sell out, and this was Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman sold out, and it's still a fairly packed theater when we went to go see it and everything. But yeah, I was like Fandango was not even loading. That's how much people wanted to see this movie, and it was surprising to me because I hadn't seen this in a long time. But it kind of told me something, because I go to see Doctor Strange, fairly empty theater. I mean, I get it, not a lot of people know Doctor Strange, but Guardians of the Galaxy was all the freaking hype. I go to see Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I get in there no problem, and it's not even crowded. Not even crowded by a little bit. And so it was interesting to see that, and I think that's maybe people are kind of seeing it that way. And I understand Wonder Woman's that's your first empowering, lead woman role in a superhero movie that we've seen in a while, but it's still, I feel like there might be a little bit of burnout there, and I feel like it's because we know what to expect from a Marvel movie, and that may be good in some cases, and maybe bad in others, because we know what to expect, so we're not surprised, we're not as on edge anymore, or wondering what's going to happen. So yeah, and while I'm talking about Wonder Woman, since we're on this topic of Marvel and DC, but while I'm talking about Wonder Woman, I gotta admit, did some kind of Marvel things in there, and one of the things that I don't like that Marvel does sometimes is they don't commit to a certain ideal, and it's one of those thought-provoking things, and they do this quite often. It's a lot. Sometimes it's really subtle, but other times it's right there. Civil War was a big one. I was you didn't commit to that, man. You should have done it. Should have I give it the the X-Men First Class treatment. X-Men First Class committed to that ideal all the way through the movie, to the point where I didn't know who I would follow. I didn't know if I would follow Magneto. I didn't know if I would follow Professor X, or if I would just stay neutral and just kind of go off on my own. I didn't know that. So I felt like Civil War could have been that. Civil War should have been that. And it didn't commit all the way to that. And that was a little bit disappointing to me. It's still a good movie in and of itself. Like I said, it's around a B, I'd say, but it just doesn't commit. And Wonder Woman did some of those things, and it kind of irritated me a little bit, because I'm like, you guys typically commit. Now you have editing problems where it looks like you don't commit, but you typically do commit to what you're doing. So that irritated me a little bit, because it was, like I said, they're trying new things, so you don't expect it. You may like it, you may not, and it's just one of those things. So I feel like a friend of mine, Jacob Knopp, he said that I feel like Marvel needs to slow down with their movies. I agree. I feel like they need to back it up a bit, and just take their time. Because now we have all of these characters, and you're trying to rush all of these characters out. And before I was really excited, but until you're not putting them, until you're not making. I don't want it to get to the point where the movies are cookie cutter. Because if they're cookie cutter movies, no one's going to see them after a while. You'll have your diehard fans who will go to see them, but other than that, So I don't want that. I'm worried about that. I don't want them to be cookie cutter movies. They're not there yet, but they're getting dangerously close. So that's what I don't want to see. So I feel that I feel like he's right. I would say, like, maybe after Infinity War, slow down. Slow down. Don't release so much content. Don't flood content, because you flood, and you're flooding with all the same things, and you're putting things. Eventually, it's like putting things through a mold, and everything looks the same, and you can't tell the difference between one movie to another anymore. So, but yeah, those are my thoughts on those three topics. What are your thoughts on if you didn't vote on Twitter, what are your thoughts on the Black Panther teaser trailer, whatever they are? Put it down in the comments below. If you did vote on Twitter, why did you vote that way? I feel like you probably have some of the same ideas that I do. But I'm curious to know. Whatever it is, put it down in the comments below. What are your thoughts about the Venom movie? Do you think it's too fast, or are you just okay with it? Or are you just excited to see a Venom movie? Whatever you think, put it down in the comments below. Are you getting burnt out on Marvel movies? I don't think the majority of people are, but I feel like it's starting to, that minority of people that are getting a little bit tired of the same thing, they are starting to grow. So whatever you think, whatever you feel on that topic, put it down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.